Welcome to Chai After Dark. Shubnam here, and today Samim and I are going to talk a little bit about some childhood memories about growing up South Asian in America. This one's called Uncle Chronicles. Enjoy. Uncles, they're like a wild card. You never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're
They're
gonna
like a
get with
box of
uncles.
chocolates.
Yeah, same color and everything. Without the
Oh, man.
sweetness, it's mostly dark chocolate. We're going to be talking about some stories from our past, which mostly revolve around uncles. And I think we should throw a definition of uncles out there. It's
It's more
generic.
of a,
Yeah, it's
yeah, and it's
not.
more of a state of mind than it is a certain age or a certain color. But
Mhm.
our experience of uncles are obviously South Asian uncles, but it's more just a vibe of wanting to tell other people what to do and,
I like how that's the first
yeah,
descriptor is telling others what to do.
yeah,
Okay, that
being,
could be it. Yeah, I could see that.
yeah,
We're talking about uncles like in a very generic sense, right? Like
mm,
some of our friends that we grew up with are uncles today.
now, yeah,
Yeah. So it's very interesting to watch the progression of them turning into the uncles and aunties that we grew up with. So
yeah,
I'm not saying any names out there. I don't even have anyone specific in my mind. It's just the last like 15 to 20 years, I've seen this slow progression of desi born Americans or American born desis turning into fathers and mothers. But yeah, uncle is a very generic sense. He's someone that came to this country looking for a better life. We've touched on some of this stuff in Chippendales, which we reviewed, which you can find on Hulu. However, uncles are just some of the most interesting people I've ever met. And there's like 7 different types of uncles, and we'll try to hit on each one.
yeah. Oh, man.
My favorite uncle is the super confident uncle, the one that like made it to the US and he's like secular and he drinks when his wife and his kids aren't around. Like that's my favorite uncle.
Damn. I literally, the picture of one came into my mind. Dude, you know what that archetype of uncle is? It's the uncle from the Indrani Mukherjee documentary, DJ. It's DJ
It's DJ,
Claire
yeah.
uncle. Yeah, where he's like sitting under a chandelier, he's got a hat on. He thinks he's like a desi cowboy. That's that uncle.
Yeah. And you never know where he made his money. But he has like a house, he's seems financially secure, that vibe.
Yeah.
Very Johnny Cash. That's how they used to dress. Those pictures from the early 80s.
Yeah, man. Those uncles or something. So, like, that's a type of an uncle. There's a lot of types of uncles. One of the other types of the uncles are ones that love to save a dime. And that might be every type of uncle secretly. But what do you think? No? You think some of them are like,
Um, Uncles are cheap for sure, but when they need to prove something, then they're very willing to spend money. But like it's a small amount. So if we're driving somewhere and I was like 15 or 16, I was with like some Pakistani friend and we're going somewhere and we stop at McDonald's to get a fish fillet. Oh, that
yeah,
uncle wants to make sure he bought everybody fish fillets. If there's like 7 boys, that's $7, right? Because they used to be 99 cents in the early
yeah,
90s. So, but they'd make like a big deal like, no, 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 beta, no, beta, I got it. I got it. Everybody,
yeah,
how many fish fillets do we need? Do we need 7 plus fries? Who wants Coke? Those kind of uncles are still cheap, but they'll be very showy when they actually do spend money and it comes out to like $17, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I don't remember any uncles like splurging unless it was like a car for themselves or something like that. But some of these guys had
yeah,
money, right? So
yeah. Well, I mean, literally, that's pretty much how I spent most of the quality time with my dad growing up. So growing up, I would like basically go to Costco with my dad and we'd get free samples. So no money there. And then when we were done, we could have a proper lunch. It was the $1.50 kosher Polish dog at the Costco stand. And that was literally my entire quality time with my dad. Like that's the thing that we did.
shopping and errands at Costco.
Yeah, with free samples and $1.50 Polish dog.
It's not bad. I used to get the fish fillets. I think they were because Costco wasn't super close to our house. I don't remember going there that much until I was a teenager, but We would do the fish fillets after Sunday school, and that's the only time I kinda remember maybe hanging out with my dad, but I don't actually remember.
We did the fish fillet, but the fish fillet wasn't our thing. After the Polish dog got taken away from Costco and they made it not kosher anymore, that's around the time I started learning to drive. So my dad would like take me out to drive and then he'd be like, "Okay, left turn here. Okay, right turn there." And I'd be like, "Oh, he's teaching me like all these different turns. You turn here." I'm like, "Oh wow, this is like such a great lesson." But somehow we would always end up at a Taco Bell and that was his thing. So it's Taco Bell and Costco, but, like, the fish fillet wasn't doing it, I don't know. Is a fire sauce maybe at Taco Bell.
That's interesting. I've never heard of an uncle who would go to Taco Bell religiously like that. It's usually what's, like, the type of fast foods that I thought was Desi's wanted to, like, grow up with or eat at all the time. McDonald's, number 1.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut, they love
Yeah,
Pizza
Pizza
Hut
Hut.
in the '80s
Yeah.
because cheap deals. That was definitely preferred over Domino's, and Taco Bell, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I don't know, I guess my dad was some kinda trailblazer going to Taco Bell.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box? Like, uncle goes to Jack in the Box to get some, like, jalapeno poppers, like, yeah, our dads didn't do that. It was well, my dad at least was only McDonald's, but my uncles too, I remember they loved McDonald's.
Also, my dad would never buy a jalapeno popper from those stores when you could get, like, a whole giant pack of those jalapeno poppers from Costco and just make them in the oven.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, that's another thing. That's the only way Desi uncles I shouldn't say Desi. We can keep it uncles because there's other uncles that can't cook
Yeah.
probably, but they couldn't cook. So
Yeah.
all the aunties would have to like freeze all this
Oh,
food
yeah.
before they went to Pakistan for the summer because you know Desi uncles and aunties when they're married to each other, they don't hang out over the summer, right? They have to split. It's a bylaw of being South Asian. So
It's
most
how
of
their
these
marriage
aunties
survives.
yeah, it's how their marriage survives. You can't be
Yeah.
spending 12 months a year together, that's insane. That's absolutely wild. Have you met some of these uncles? So the aunties would go to Pakistan, and they would have to cook all this food for 2 months, 2.5 months, and freeze it, put it into the freezer, and then even today, my dad would grab it while my mom's in Pakistan and warm it up, and he's like, "Look, I cooked." Like, that's they cannot cook. I don't remember uncles cooking, really. Maybe they can,
Damn.
but I they would come here for a better life, but it's just like there's some psychosis involved. What are you thinking? Like, without ever knowing it, there's no internet. I understand
Yeah.
the world has always been filled with nomads and digital travelers, nomads,
Non-digi
sorry,
yeah.
non-digital travelers,
Yeah.
nomads. Sorry, I'm thinking about digital nomading in my own life, so who knows? Maybe I'll
Yeah.
do that one day. The anti-uncle lifestyle.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you think about that, like, okay, sure, you could call it psychosis or whatever, but people have been doing that forever,
Yeah.
right? Like, people have been moving to different countries without knowledge of what it's going to be like and just kind of showing up and figuring it out. That's literally how immigration has worked throughout time until like the last few decades, you
Yeah, where
know?
it's gotten all weird, where it's like, "Oh, your mindset should change on immigration because why? Because nothing's changed fundamentally in human nature, so we still have a need to, like, as you said, emigrate, and what would be
Move around.
move around. Yeah, what's I
Yeah.
don't understand how everybody can just stay stationary. Yeah, people don't move out of their home country, but the people that do, it's super necessary because we need to diversify workforces around the world and make
Yeah.
this a little bit gray community, not black and white.
Yeah, but I mean, like, nowadays, if somebody wanted to move to another country, it's like, okay, go visit there, look at Google
Mhm.
Street View,
Oh,
read about
yeah.
Wikipedia. Like, you can do all this stuff. Whereas, like, before it would just be like, okay, well, apply for a visa or like some kind of education program or some kind of work thing. And you have to kind of just show up and see how it goes, you know? It's not like it is now, you know? They even have freaking Street View in a lot of places now. You can go like, "Oh, let's look at the street view for this town," or whatever,
Yeah, I can
and
see
before you
exactly
go
where I
there.
live.
Yeah. For the full version of this episode and much more, join our paid feed at patreon.com/chai after dark. And as always, rate us 5 stars only, please. Write us a lovely note. We'd love to hear it. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials. We're at Chai After Dark on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, everywhere. Have a great weekend.